Welcome to Twin Talk. My name is Joy, and I'm not with my sister Angie this evening. We've both been pretty busy this week, and we just have not had time to get together to record a podcast. So I told Angie that I would go ahead, that I had just finished a book that I could discuss with you guys, and I would just go ahead and record it on my own. I want to apologize ahead of time for the sound quality. My microphone is over at our mother's house. And so is my computer, so I'm actually just recording this on my iPhone, so I'm hoping that the sound quality is good enough that you guys can actually just hear what I have to say about this book. So Golden Arm is a young adult fiction book. It was written by Carl Deuker, and I'm just going to go ahead and read what Kirkus Reviews had to say about Golden Arm. A high school baseball player fights for his dream of pitching in the major leagues. Lazarus Laz Weathers, so named because he almost died while being born, is a pitcher living in Jet City, a trailer park in Seattle. With a speech impediment and a learning disability, Laz believes that baseball might be the only path available to him after high school. His half-brother Antonio is 18 months younger and also likes baseball. But lately, Antonio has been hanging out with Garrett, a small-time drug dealer, which worries Laz. After the baseball program closes at North Central High, it's announced that Jet City will be demolished by developers, and his mother decides to move out of the city. Laz receives the opportunity of a lifetime, transfer to Laurelhurst High, which has the city's top team, and live with the family of their star player. Knowing he'll get better training and more exposure to college scouts in Seattle, Laz must decide whether to leave his family and chase after his dream. Deuker weaves an interesting plot dealing with socioeconomic inequality and drug use into a cast of varied characters. Unfortunately, the secondary characters at times prove to be more interesting than the protagonist, whose characterization falls flat. With few physical descriptions or cultural markers, ethnicity is difficult to determine. So I'll have to kind of agree with Kirkus in a way. 1 second here. Let me get this back up. I kind of feel the same way. I just assumed he was white. I didn't really, the way that he spoke, the references to what the family ate and how they acted, to me just sounded like a average white family. I could be wrong. But I will agree with the fact that out of all the characters in the book, he was kind of the most boring. And not that every character has to be super exciting or anything. But just the way he was written, he was very simplistic, very, to me, very innocent, very pure, had a real kind of innocent view of the world. And I will say, like Kirkus Reviews said, he has a learning disability and he does stutter. And what I'm about to say, I don't want it to come across as offensive at all, but I would recommend, if you do choose to read this book, because I do think it did keep my interest, and if you like baseball, it will definitely keep your interest, because it's basically about the underdog from the wrong side of the tracks trying to make it to the big leagues. But there's a lot of baseball terminology in there. Now, I played softball growing up, and of course my nephew's played baseball since he was old enough to walk, and I know all this baseball terminology. But I could see someone who does not know any baseball terminology getting a little frustrated and maybe not quite understand what's going on, because there is a lot of detail when the games are being played. They do go into a lot of detail of what's happening in the game, and if you're not familiar with the terminology, I could just see where you'd be a little lost. So if you're not a baseball fan, I just don't know if you would like this book or not. And I'm not a huge baseball fan, but I mean, it like I said, it kept my interest. It was an interesting storyline. Obviously, through the whole book, you're pulling for him. You're hoping he makes it to the big leagues, and I'm not going to tell you. There is a big, huge twist and surprise type deal at the end that I did not see coming. That kind of made me angry, but I won't tell you the ending. I don't want to do a spoiler alert here. But what I was going to say earlier about being, I don't want anyone to get offended, but I would read this book rather than listen to it, because the guy who read the part of Laz Weathers did awesome. I mean, he did a wonderful job, but he did, impersonate him stuttering. And hearing someone stutter throughout the whole book, it's frustrating. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying, like, you just want him to say it. It makes me feel sorry for the character, and it makes me just want to get them help and help them overcome this stutter. And it's frustrating because you want that character so badly to be able to speak, and you feel so sorry for them because, they're having to go through life with a stutter. And it just really made me think about how frustrating and hard it would be to have a speech impediment going through life. So I would think this might be one you might want to read. So this book did deal a lot with wealthy people versus people in poverty, and there's just a whole different outlook from the wealthy people's perspective and the people of poverty's perspective. And really, I'm trying to think what else I was going to say about it. I don't really want to say too much else because I don't want to give anything away. But I would definitely say if you are into baseball, you probably would like this book. If you're not into baseball, you may still want to give it a chance and just see if you like it or not. I do like the ending. It's not what we expect, but I did like the ending. So anyway, Golden Arm by Carl Deuker. Check it out if you have the time. And hopefully Angie and I will get some free time and be able to actually do a podcast together before next week. Have a great evening, and thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Twin Talk.